Hey, what's up everyone, and welcome to my review for Edge of Tomorrow, which is a brand new Tom Cruise action film, sci-fi action film, which of course is based on a novel called All You Need Is Kill, which I have yet to read. I will read it though, because I was actually looking forward to this film quite a bit. All the trailers, all the press for this film. I love Tom Cruise, and I really love the premise of this film. A man that's stuck in a time loop and has to pretty much die and come back over and over again and figure out how to get rid of an alien menace. So I was really looking forward to this, especially since the reviews for this have been stellar. Pretty much just great all around. So what did I think of Edge of Tomorrow? Let's talk about it. The story for Edge of Tomorrow takes place, no surprise here, in the future, and no surprise here as well, aliens have arrived on Earth and are trying to take over Earth. But these aliens, called mimics, are actually pretty badass. They're actually taking over Earth pretty good. They're like these tentacle monsters that move really quickly and can outmaneuver any soldier, and they're badass. They're pretty badass aliens. Hell, we even made like exosuits, kind of like Elysium. We just built these big, massive armor suits, and we still can't beat these things. So of course, now we follow our main character, Major William Cage, played by Tom Cruise, who gets sent into the battlefield, gets killed, but before he gets killed, he kind of like, not fuses with one of the aliens, but one of the aliens kind of like drips their blood all over him, and then he wakes up, and guess what? He's back before he actually goes into the battlefield. And you know why? Because he got the time loop ability. So every time he dies, he comes back and he has to do his life over again and keep dying and coming back. So of course, he meets up with a soldier named Rita, played by Emily Blunt, who is like the badass of the group. She's badass. She's like the symbol of hope for pretty much everybody. She's one of the best killers of mimics out there, and she trains him because this used to actually happen to her as well. She used to have the time loop ability, so she trains him by, of course, he keeps dying and blah blah blah, and of course they have to figure out how to get rid of the alien menace, which there is a way, but I'm not gonna spoil it. So there you go. That is the story for Edge of Tomorrow. Not the best description ever, but I'm not the best at explaining stories like you probably know by now. I'm just gonna tell you straight up, the story here not only is original, especially when it's a big budget movie like this. You don't usually see an original premise for a movie that costs like $180 million to make. But not only is the premise original and thoroughly explored, but the characters are not only just likable, but they have development. They actually feel like people. Tom Cruise in this film, in the beginning, I didn't like him. I mean, you're not supposed to. He's a coward. Even though he's a major, he's never really been in a firefight. He just got pretty much promoted because he's always been there. Never been in a fight, but he's just, you know, he just got promoted. But then later on, you get to see the evolution of his character. Every time he dies and comes back and just like trains some more with Rita's character, you just get to see that, and it's really, really well done. At first, he's a wimp. He does it perfectly. He is a wimp. But later on, you can definitely tell he is a badass now. He's been through hell. And of course, Rita, played by Emily Blunt, is also a badass here, but you actually get to see who she is as a person as well. Now, it's not any mushy-gushy romance in this. Don't expect that. If you're expecting a love story in this between the two characters, you're not getting that. I'm just telling you straight up. You're not really getting that. You might get a little bit of that here and there, but for the most part, when they're together, you feel the chemistry, but you don't feel like it's a romantic chemistry. You feel like it's kind of like a buddy-buddy chemistry. For some reason I couldn't think of the word. And I mean, the premise is just so well realized. Like every time he dies and comes back, it's either really, really impactful, you actually really feel it, or it's actually really funny. They actually try to play up the comedy in this a lot. And yes, I know, it's Tom Cruise getting killed over and over again, but believe me, there is times where it's hilarious. There's a part where he tries to roll under a car, and you can tell he's like feeling like a badass trying to do that, but then he just gets, I ain't gonna spoil it, but it's pretty funny. The outcome is really funny, and there's a lot of moments like that where you just hear him go and scream. He's like, ah! And then he just gets crushed by something, and then he, of course, comes back. So I like that they try to make our main character die a lot and make it funny, and they actually made it work completely. This movie is very, very funny, but again, it's very heartfelt at times, very dramatic, and it actually works on all those levels. And the time loop premise never feels like it's just a big gimmick. It never feels like that. You actually feel the pressure of the aliens pretty much destroying this world, and you really do want to see Bill and, of course, Vita. I don't know why I keep calling her Vita for some reason. That's the third time I did so far. Not in this review, just like I had to keep starting the freaking review over because I keep calling her Rita. I mean, There you go, I said it right that time. Anyway, you feel that these two are, you know, you just want to follow them through and see if they can actually stop this menace. It's never like, oh, when's Tom Cruise gonna die again so I can laugh? I never felt like that. I felt invested into the story. The writing is great, the direction is fantastic, the camera work, the cinematography is beautiful, the special effects in this movie, they don't use it, the special effects too much. Whenever you see a mimic, it's obviously special effects, and sometimes during the action you see all these exosuits and stuff, and they definitely are special effects at times, but they don't use it like every 5 minutes. Like like there's time where it's just like, okay, here's Tom Cruise and Emily Blunt just having a conversation, and I really like that. But when it got into the action and the special effects, it was incredible, especially the action. The action is not only well filmed, but really, really engaging and really just fun to watch. And ooh, there's so many really badass scenes in this film. I love this film, but if I have any problem with it, the writing is great. I thought Christopher McQuarrie and everybody else that wrote this film did an amazing job with the dialogue and everything else, but I felt like some of the side characters, you know, people like Bill Paxton and Brendan Gleeson and some of the other soldiers in this film, were underdeveloped. I felt like they could have had more screen time, especially Bill Paxton, who I thought was hilarious and really good in the beginning of this film. He kind of disappears like about maybe 40-50 minutes into the film, which was kind of disappointing. I thought he was going to be a really big main character, but he really wasn't. I don't know. I was a little disappointed by that. And some of the other side characters, like the soldiers, I wish I saw more of them, like some more of the buddy-buddy, like just chemistry. I don't know. I wanted to see more of that, but still, the action was incredible in this film. It was very well paced. The characters are really likable. Tom Cruise is great, and so is Emily Blunt. They make a great pairing, even though they're like 20 years apart from each other. Like Tom Cruise is like 50 and she's like 30. It doesn't matter anyway. It's not, like I said, it's not a real big romantic, you know, character development thing, whatever. Anyway, I'm done. So Edge of Tomorrow is great. I also saw it in IMAX 3D, and you should definitely go see it in IMAX 3D because the 3D is incredible, and the IMAX is, you know, it's sound design. I mean, the sound is incredible, and the picture is great. So definitely go see it in IMAX 3D. This is a movie that if it bombs, we're gonna have a problem. Hey, Hollywood, we're gonna have a problem if this movie bombs. Ooh, this movie was just so good. So there you go. Edge of Tomorrow. I'm gonna give it, I mean, I've said this a few times so far this year, but I'm giving it a 40 out of 40. Even the side character part, that was a problem, but everything else was so incredible in this film. And I have to give them kudos for having a premise like this that was so different from most big budget Hollywood films. I have to give it a 40 out of 40. It's incredible. I love this film. I'm going to see it again and again and again. I love it. So there you go. There's my review for Edge of Tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you and goodbye.